Everybody, thanks for coming back to the channel. On today's video we're going to be doing a review on Tamiya's Fox, the vintage version. Original release date 1985, model number 58051, so the 51st Tamiya buggy that was ever produced out of the first 100 run of cars. And I mean, this one I was really lucky, absolutely immaculate condition. Haven't even restored this. This is how it come. Bought it 5-10 years ago now, and yeah, I must admit it's one of my favourite styled buggies. Has a monocoque frame, 2-wheel drive, powered by the rear wheels, 4-wheel independent double wishbone suspension, sealed gearbox, so you're not going to get any debris or rubbish getting inside the gearbox, and the gearbox has a 3-bevel gear diff. Which is super smooth for something 40 odd years old. It's pretty much a survivor. Get the vintage aluminium dog bones in the back there, 2 CVA dampers mounted at the rear, which do give you a really nice plush suspension, and then on the front you get a single mono shock. Same again, still works really well. I'll show you that when I do the bounce test. Also get a front anti-roll bar on this particular car, as you can see in the front there. On a couple of FRP standoffs. Never noticed that before. There's some weird old mounting brackets on the front there. And those epic gold plated wheels. I mean, I think they look absolutely stunning. This Monster Beetle had the same colour wheel as well, which just makes the buggy sort of pop a little bit. They come with Tamiya's, pretty much like they're on loads of models. You get like a block and a pin on the tyre. These are the original tyres, and they are getting a little bit crispy now. But, you know, to keep the originality of the buggy, just keep the original tyres. It's weird because the front ones are still quite supple. In the kit you actually got a 540, well, an RS 540S silver cam motor, but someone has upgraded this to a Demon Power, and I do remember back in the day those Demon motors were pretty cool, and quite a powerful motor. I can't remember what turn it was without going and having a look online, but you know, nice little period hop up in the back there. They drive exceptionally well considering how old they are. And the plastics on these are lovely and supple, so if you do have a little crash, you're more than likely not going to break anything. But that front end was renowned for being a little bit fragile if you get a bit overzealous, crashing into each other when you're having races. Also comes with that beautiful polycarbonate body and little rear wing, sort of styled after the buggies of the late 80s, I suppose, like the desert racing trucks. So what I'll do is I'll pop the body off and I'll show you what all the chassis looks like. Here we have the Fox now with the body taken off, and it is quite a sturdy chassis. You get a solid top plate on the top there, cool little driver figure, and then you get an easy access battery door at the bottom where the battery is mounted horizontally across the chassis. One, it's easy to get the battery in, and you do get pretty good weight distribution. Inside that top plate underneath there are all the electronics. They're all sort of semi-protected inside a little, well, I suppose it's like a little chassis box at the front. Like I say, quick release battery hatch underneath. You've got your resistors on the side, the old finger burners. Double on this one. I'm not sure why you have 2, but whether to balance it out and just make it look pretty cool. And to be fair, considering that's 40 years old, I don't really drop that for too much of a height, but I mean, that suspension, not bad for a buggy that age, and I imagine these shocks could probably do with a rebuild. But everything does still feel super supple. Comes with a half decent servo saver as well. But driving one, I mean, when you jump these, because of the way they're weighted, you get such a lovely arc on your jump. Another weird thing about these, Tamiya only used this chassis on this vehicle. Never been used on anything else, which is really unlike Tamiya, because normally they like to get their money's worth out of chassis. But just standalone, no other buggy shares the same chassis as this. Almost the same as the little driver figure. Normally you get you get a big space in his helmet, but that helmet, I've never seen that style before, the way that goes in like that. Also waterproof switch, which, blimey, that rubber's literally turned to granite. And they didn't make many hop-ups for them. I mean, motor, bearings, not a lot, but then it's a standalone chassis, so that buggy is the only one that has this particular chassis. So what I'll do is I'll pop the body back on, and I'll pop it back on the turntable and give it a couple of spins. Here we have the Fox Racing Tamiya buggy on the turntable now. Like I say, not many hop-ups for these. Standalone chassis, and very hard to find parts for the original ones. But a few years ago, probably about 10 years ago now, Tamiya re-released the Nova Fox, which was on model number 58577. Slightly different name, like Nova Fox instead of normal Fox, but the Nova Fox did come with a few upgraded bits. So you've got full set of bearings, new style rear dog bones, new redesigned anti-roll bar, slightly different rear hubs, slightly different body shell design, slightly different decals, slightly different steering setup, and instead of getting the RS 540S motor like you got in the original Fox, you just got a standard like Johnson's 540 silver can, and the Nova Fox also includes electronic speed control. So there's quite a few upgrades. I'd imagine the plastics were a little bit different, so probably wouldn't run the original, but might get a Nova Fox to build on the channel and then take it out, let it rip. I've got a friend of mine who's got a Nova Fox, and to be fair, on loose gravel or, like, you know, a loose sort of dusty surface, these buggies are absolutely epic. You can get a bit of drift action going on, but probably wouldn't run this one because these plastics now, like I say, just coming up for over 40 years old and are getting a little bit brittle. Could take that Demon motor off to get that vintage experience of racing. I've checked it all over. Someone must have put brand new bushes in it and then just put it away. Like I say, bought that a good 10 years ago now. Little bit of decal lift here and there, but nothing major. But like, it's absolutely immaculate underneath. So I think someone must have built it and never used it. So hope you've enjoyed this little review of Tamiya's vintage Fox Racing buggy. And I hope to see you in the next one. And if you could like and subscribe, it'd be cool. So I'll see you later. Bye.